Hey guys, if you want to keep up with the Melon Party and everything we're doing, you can follow us on Facebook or Instagram under the Melon Party name.
Or you can reach us on the Melon Party hotline, 317-520-3168. Or shoot us over an email at themelonpartypod@gmail.com.
Now, let's party.
Yo, I was in the shower. Call me back.
What's up, guys? I'm Josh,
I'm Jared.
and as always, we're joined with the wizard to our Oz, the man behind the curtain, BJ.
What's up, BJ?
What's up, BJ? So we got a guest episode today. It's been a minute. Ran into a great video about on this guy that he
saw this
posted,
a few months
and
ago, too.
I had to reach out. I had to learn more about him, and then as I followed him, more and more stuff came out, and I was like, this guy's got
He's got a
he's
unique
got Tolkien
perspective
lore.
on life here.
Yeah, he's got some
interesting stories,
yeah,
interesting
a lot of
character.
different adventures and paths to his life that I find very interesting. So I'm excited to sit here and talk with him and get a little bit more on that. So today's guest, we have Saros. Saros.
Welcome
We
to the
didn't say
show,
it right,
man.
but we'll do the best we can on that. But yeah, we appreciate you for being here, man. Welcome to the Melon Party.
Thank you. I'm having a fantastic day so far. My wife just woke up, so everything's good on my end now.
Awesome.
There you
man.
go. Yeah. So first of all, I want to get the origin story.
Yeah,
Let's get
tell us a little bit about
yourself,
yourself, man. What's going
and
on?
where you're
from? Where you from? What you do? What you into?
I was born in Egypt.
Oh, damn.
My mother and my father, God bless their soul, immediately abandoned me, and it was kind of a coin flip. I have a twin brother, and they took him and left me, which I feel like it must have been a coin flip.
Yeah, I was about
if
to
it's
say,
Say, if you're twins, man, come on. Like,
Why
it
not
had
take
to
us
be
both? They
random,
put a cat litter on us. They just took the one that was probably more healthy.
right?
But I was raised by my elder brother, Behemoth, and he was chilling. And contrary to his name, he is not tall at all
So it's like an
or
ironic
large.
thing.
Nice.
Very ironic name. But I got here when I was 8, after going through homelessness and being destitute and having my body tortured, just like not like beat, but like actually like brutalized by the environment.
Right.
Right.
So after all that, I got to New Orleans. And as soon as I hit New Orleans, I didn't go to an orphanage or anything like that. I met a man named Mr. Leo. Mr. Leo raised me. Mr. Leo's a cool dude. Mr. Leo was homeless and he ate alligators. That's what he did.
Gators.
That's
There
pretty
you
much his entire life. He got a Greyhound to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
And at the Greyhound to Detroit, we used a tool called True People Search and FastPeopleSearch.com.
Okay.
My mother's name is very specific. Her name is Netris.
Yeah.
We found her,
Okay.
and we were going to go to her house until one day I saw her at the library.
Oh, wow.
And then she grabbed me, beat off Mr. Leo, not like sexually,
yeah.
just like literally
Right.
knocked him away.
Fought him off, right?
And then I was immediately life flipped upside down, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air status. And then boom, I'm just in Toledo as opposed to Detroit. So I was in Toledo. And
Back with your mom then?
My mom, my dad, and I
Okay.
met my twin brother. I met my older brother. Had my older sister Cherie. Had my other sister Tariana.
So
I had my other sister Shara.
reunification,
It was
nice.
a lot of kids. It was
Wow,
a
that's
crazy amount of
lot.
kids.
That is a lot of kids.
Especially
It's
for
'cause
your-
That's good,
It's-
though.
Yeah, it's because my dad kept sleeping with everyone else. And at 8, I was there, went to school, and then at 12, I became a Crip. And this is probably the main crux of why you reached out to me, is because I got gang members to play D&D, I believe, correct? Is that
Right,
the one?
That was the
Yeah.
first video
Okay.
I saw.
Sure.
So after I was like maybe 13, maybe 14. I don't remember the exact age. I was young. I'm 27 now. I was younger. So I was scared of my neighborhood because my mom and my dad had been divorced. I was really scared of the neighborhood because I was in a blood territory and I was a Crip.
Okay.
So I thought to myself, well, how do I live here and still sell drugs? Because I can't really.
Survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to think. So I went to the gas station and I had an idea. I was riding my bike, and I saw one of the people I sold drugs to who was a blood, and I said, "Hey, can you introduce me to one of the vice lords?" And he said, "I can't do that, cuz it's not. They can't. You don't get shot." I'm like, "Nah, no. Let me talk to him." As soon as I arrived there, he immediately recognized me and said, "If I kill you, life's gonna be great for me." And I said, "Hold up a second. Wait, well, hold on now. Would you like to have a talk?" And he said, "You gonna get your homies over there and we gonna talk?" Now his thought process probably was that he could kill us all in one go, which is
Right.
fair.
Right.
Not gonna lie, I was smart. So he agreed to meet at my mom's house. Cool. I got the Vice Lord of the Bloods, the Vice Lord of the Bloods, Vice Lord of the Crips at the time, just together. And we had their right hand men, the people that I trusted the most, and then one random dude, just one random guy. I don't know who the other person was. And
One
they all
very
met at my
simple.
house. And holy shit, it was like an immediate I was about to die. Because they all put out guns at each other and was like, "All right, cuz it's over." And I was like, "Wait, stop." And I heard their stomach rumbling. And I was like, "We could eat.
Yeah.
We could
What about
eat."
food
And
before death? How about
We all ate
that?
Food
You don't
always
want to
unites.
die on an empty stomach.
Yeah, food always unites.
and we all ate grilled cheese sandwiches with cream cheese on them. And then I
Wow.
talked to them about gathering to talk and come together as a unionship because this is childish and this is weird. And they said, "Nah, fuck that, cunt. Bullshit." By the way, I'm like 12, 13. There's like a 37-year-old man there, by the way. Like, they're not like
Right.
Right, yeah.
one of them is old. Um, so we're all talking, and I'm like, "Let's go to the basement." And they said, "Cool." And they're thinking it's gonna be like get jumped on the basement, so they just get ready to shoot. But they shoot in my basement floor, and nothing's there. And I'm like, "Y'all just ruining the foundation." Oh, never mind. So we ended up doing nothing the first day. Like, we just talked, and we all understood that we should meet up again. We just did nothing the first day.
Right.
I go back to school. There's a guy named Tom Ball. God bless Tom Ball's fucking soul. I love Tom Ball. He's a nerd. I bullied this motherfucker all year. And he said he's like, "You gonna bully me again?" I'm like, "No, teach me that role play shit you do, with the swords and shit." And
Yeah.
he said, "What?" And I said, the what's it called?" He said, "D&D." I was like, "Yeah, that shit." And he taught me D&D, and we ended up whole school day writing down in our notebooks, exchanging throughout the entire day because we had like 3 classes together.
Mm.
A homebrew of D&D. Got it done in like a day.
Nice.
It was great. Got it done. And I came back to the people's, like, because they met up 3 days later, and we ended up doing D&D,
Yeah.
or trying our best to. I tried original D&D first. It didn't work. They hated it.
Right.
So we did a homebrew of Detroit.
Sure.
And that was hectic at first, and it got better. It got significantly better as time went on.
Right.
As the game does. I mean, when you get new people playing that kind of game, they're kind of like, "Well, what do we do?" It's like they don't have the. It's hard to grasp that you're pretending to be this character. It's like this whole
Right.
acting thing, and that's what makes it fun.
What I love the most is that they got disgustingly into it. Like, they started
Right.
like marrying men. They started like what was it, having rent a train on an orc. It was a lot of stuff
Yeah, of course.
going on. It was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, that's how it
And that's
usually
what I
goes.
appreciate. They ended up wanting to do another campaign. We actually completed 2 whole campaigns, which is
That's
unheard of in
crazy.
D&D.
Yeah,
that's
that
crazy.
takes a lot of time.
Yeah, and a lot of, people showing up. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's the
hard
big
to get people
thing.
to commit to that type of thing, especially, if they got
They showed up because I had weed, but
Yeah.
so
Hey, you gotta have. I mean, it's got to be
There you go.
something.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
sweet.
that's
I was a
marketing
drug
right
dealer,
there.
so it
Get
was
them in the
easier.
door.
solving the streets through math rocks. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Jared actually plays D&D. You do what, 2 games a week?
Yeah, I got a
Something
couple different
we've
campaigns.
done.
I run a campaign, then I play in another one
Yeah.
that's every week about. Yeah.
And then
it's
when
pretty
I
sweet.
lived in Chicago, a buddy of ours, also him and I, we worked at a bar, and so after we'd shut the bar down, we would get a lot of the people we worked with, and we introduced them to D&D. So I mean, it is one of those games that it's completely open to your mind, and you can, and like what you did, you found a way for these guys to find
common ground.
a common ground and relate
Yeah.
to something.
Well,
And-
it's just a problem-solving game, and it fosters commonality and group thinking and critical thinking.
Which,
does.
Which in
It
gang
does.
in gang life, there is a lot of critical. Like you have to
Sure.
figure situations out, and sometimes So I mean, there is that relation there to it.
Yes,
So
that is true.
and I remember in your video you were saying that after a while they actually got out of the gang life because of that. So talk more about how that led up to that.
So one of them got shot. They had to they got like they had to lie about what they were coming to my house for. And one time, one of them got shot. They didn't show up for a session.
Mm.
So we went to the hospital where they were at, and they said I really thought I was about to die. And then one of the dudes said something really stoic, and it fucked us all up. He said, "Yeah, it's crazy. One day I think about what if I live my life wrong this entire time, and death is gonna come into my funeral and whisper in my ear how I should have conducted my life." And we all just like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from?
Yeah,
That like shook us a little bit because we're like, huh.
He's right.
And they all like came together. They were like, okay, maybe we should like chill out on this. And it was a bit of a shift. The street became safe when they stopped. Like the
Right.
street became fucking safe.
Sure.
After that day, after the shooting, they all got like they were like, we should just chill out. It really came to a head when we went to the Renaissance Festival.
Oh,
I want
nice.
you to picture this. Imagine a bunch of hoodlums,
Yeah.
niggas, if you will, and do-rags and white beaters and sweats with elf
Yeah.
ears. That's the only thing. That's like it. And one of us in a full suit of fucking armor. Just picture that, if you will.
I'm
That was
enjoying this.
that was
Awesome,
the
though.
Renaissance Festival. They
Hell
had a
yeah.
hot pickle. They picked up a jester. It was a little short dude who was like 3 feet tall. They picked him up and they rocked with him. It was nuts. They loved it. They felt like it was a part of life that they never got to experience.
Right.
Like
a
something
big, it's a great
They're-
release for
they-
them.
Well, and they were also sounds like they were being vulnerable.
Yeah.
They were opening up to be vulnerable.
Yeah, you can't
know,
be
and,
that kind of way on the streets. I
Right, and
guess,
it's like
man.
something
Yeah,
that,
survival of the fittest out there.
and a lot of that is that when we lived in Chicago, I lived there for almost a decade, but I got to learn a lot about Chicago. And a lot of the things you would hear is that a lot of the gang life and stuff in Chicago is that's all they have. That's all they've ever been told they have. And that's
Yeah.
the only opportunity they've ever been told that it's the only opportunity you have. And so when you have guys in that situation, there are things that they want to do. They can't because of the life that they've been given. And so that's
A lot of
really
those
cool.
guys, they're going in like you said, you were in the gangs at a young age, 10, 12, 13 years old. You don't necessarily have a childhood then, You're out
No.
scratching for a living, trying to live and eat and survive. You're not, playing Nintendo and, getting your Transformers out and playing BattleBots with them or
Yeah.
whatever in your nice, safe, white picket fence neighborhood.
Right.
So
Well,
once you
what
finally
messed
have
me
that
up a lot-
opportunity to cut loose, you really cut loose and then let that inner child fucking blast off, man. Hell yeah.
Well, what messed me up is that there's this deep connection because the only semblance of like childhood I think they had was probably Dragon Ball Z. Like that
Right.
was like
Yeah, that's
it.
huge.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Yo, man, my power level blasts you. I'm like 9,500 over here.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's just
all
a good
Goku's
thing.
workous and stuff were
Yeah,
all
we
real
watched the
intense
hell
and
out of
stuff.
some
Oh,
Dragon
yeah,
Ball
like,
Z back in the day.
That's
for
one. That's
sure, man.
another one of those shows that it's one of those you could show it almost to anybody, and
Yeah.
it's like, man, just give it like 3 episodes. I promise you're gonna
For
like
this
it,
one
you know?
fight.
For this one fight,
This-
and you'll get the
This
idea.
7-episode build up for this
Yeah.
3-episode fight. It's gonna be good.
I want to go back a little bit. And you said, the young age you got reunited with your mom, and then you're getting united with all these family members. How did that make you feel? Was that like scary? Was it overwhelming, or was it exciting? Like, what were the feelings when because I mean that's a lot as a kid. I mean, first of all,
So
you
much.
probably you have this adventure and this search for something that you really don't know what it is. And you find it, and then all of a sudden it's this massive other world that you're now being thrown into.
I have, I think, a mental issue with adjusting too fast. I think
Mm.
my entire life was uprooted. Was it 5, 6, 7 months ago? I adjusted immediately. I don't have time to wait anymore. I realized that when I was born.
Yeah.
I don't remember when I was born, nothing like that. But I realized it at a like disgusting, like maybe like 6, 5. I don't have time to wait. I didn't have a stable home or anything like that. I felt like every environment I had could shift immediately. So I was always ready for everything to shift. There has never been a sense of true stability in my life. Stability horrified me because of that. So I always would try to change or shake things up. Hence why I even joined the gang in the first place. To be fair and real with you, I probably didn't even have to join the gang. Probably
Right.
didn't have to. My mom was married to this she got married to him. She was married to this other guy who was pretty well off, better than my dad, and then my dad was messing with some girl all the way in some nice middle class neighborhood. I had a choice. I genuinely had a choice. I chose it because I saw somebody walking around with $4,000, and I said, if I have money, things won't change because I'll be safe.
Right.
That's pretty much what I thought. And meeting my family, all these people that look like me, some people that were literally a twin, actively look exactly like me. I was thinking to myself, okay, these people could kill me any moment. That's what I'm thinking, because I would kill them. That's my only thought process. I would kill these people in a heartbeat. I wasn't thinking anything else because they're like me. They have my same mannerisms. Then they must be killers. Like that's my only thought process. They must be fucking evil because I thought I was evil when I was younger. So I was so scared of being around that environment because I didn't know that they were actually just like regular fucking people. People don't regularly think like, all right, we're gonna have to kill these people one day. That's not a regular thought. I didn't know that.
Right. Yeah.
So it was a bit of a shocker, surely to realize that it was stable for a little bit even.
Yeah. Well, that's good though, man. I'm glad you at least got to experience that for some time. Especially at a young age. That's something. I take for granted.
Yeah.
Little Midwest white boy from Southern Indiana, growing up with two parents in a chill middle class neighborhood. Riding my bike to school every day, 5 blocks away in like third grade when I'm 8 years old.
Yeah, your typical '80s,
bro.
John Hughes movie.
Yeah, bro. Like so easy, life on easy mode in hindsight.
Well,
man.
we've talked about this on quite a few episodes. Like growing up, a lot of the different cultures and stuff we learned from TV. MTV was huge to him and I's life. It just had come out when we were
Any
young
cable
kids.
TV. It's where you formed all of your kind of opinions of what the world's like. You only got your little town that you're in, and it took both of us moving to Chicago after we got out of college here, and where we went to Indiana University, which is less than an hour away from where we grew up. So when we finally got into a big city, there were a lot of eye-opening experiences for us there the first couple of years when we realized our naivety and the way that we were raised is uncommon.
Well, we were bartenders, so we got to speak to people from all over the world, especially in Chicago. There was just everybody. So I learned about countries that never even knew existed. We learned about actually got to speak with people who were dealing with stuff that we only saw and heard about. And so you get to kind of have that brought to
have real conversations,
real
conversations,
opposed to,
fictional conversations, from your movies and things like that. So
what I had learned deeply is Americans have a lot of guilt and self-resentment for having things, which is a weak trait, I think. I think that's stupid to have guilt for winning. Americans won. You guys got to write the history books. You're the strongest country in the world. You have the largest military. America won. To the rest of the world, you guys aren't idiots or weirdos or something like that. Only Americans I know truly hate Americans. You go anywhere else in the world, Japan fucking loves America.
Yeah.
Fucking China fucks with America. Hell, even deeper parts of Russia fuck with America. Because I've traveled all over and I've seen people be like, oh, you're American. I love you. Oh, that's great. Because America is viewed as, even if you're living in destitute and squalor, you still have a toilet.
Yeah,
right. Water.
Our poor is,
that is success.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Even if you don't have a 2-parent household, you can still live. That is beauty.
Yeah.
And I don't consider it to be like, I'm taking it for granted. No, you're not taking it for granted. Because when I got 10,000 followers on Instagram, my first thought was, I can't wait to get 100,000. Now I'm at 100,000. I'm like, I can't wait to hit 1 million. To evolve and to want more is the best thing about being human.
Right.
the drive.
If you don't have that,
what are you doing?
then what's the point? You shouldn't spend time wallowing in your self-pity because the world isn't going to wait for you to wallow. Keep going and do better forever. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you definitely have a unique life perspective to be able to have that, so, I'm a jaded, cynical fucking dude.
Well, for me, like, I struggle with imposter syndrome. So, through a lot of people's eyes, they see, like, my life and they see me as a success. But for me, like, a lot of the things I've done and the things I've been able to succeed at, to me, was just something I wanted to do. It's like the old philosopher, was it Epictetus, said that,
Epicurious.
yeah, don't if you run a race to where you're the only one that can win, then you'll never lose. So in sense, it's if you're chasing a success based off of what it is you want out of your life to be the best you and the best version of you, then it doesn't matter what other people do, and you're always going to win. And putting that focus on you instead of this competition with somebody else. And I've always really liked that, but it's something I really do struggle with. And speaking of because we're big components of mental health and things like that, and we think that. I mean, it is changing with the stereotype with men, but we have always been taught and raised to
grin and
stay in
bear
your
it.
lane, grin
Yeah.
and don't talk
Tough
about
guy.
it, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to be able to carry that and stuff.
Yeah,
And
carry your weight and others if you need to.
Right, and,
there's no being vulnerable. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And I think now, though, I think we are seeing a different change in that, and I think we're seeing a lot of good come from that.
Shit, yeah.
I think I may have skipped the man talk most of my childhood simply for the fact of the matter of every thought I've ever had, I have said. There has not been a thought, intrusive or not, I have said aloud the instant it hits my skull. I refuse not to.
No filter.
And I think that nobody has to guess around me about how I feel about someone or something.
Right.
Because guess what? It is coming out whether you want it to or not.
There you go.
And I think everybody should live like that. Even if it hurts someone's feelings deeply, I think everybody should live like that. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I was around a lot of people that were like that growing up, so I was very humbled at times. Being a very outspoken, maybe talk too much when I was younger, to where a lot of guys would just look at me like, "Man, are you still talking?" I'm like, "Damn, am I talking a lot? I'm just trying to have a conversation, hang out." And to today, where I'm basically an introvert. Like I like my being alone. I like being quiet. I like listening, and but yeah, I do always admire that from people.
Transparency can be good, but I mean, there's definitely times to be guarded. For me, at least, you know, like I don't like, I wear my emotions and my voice on my face anyway. I mean, I'm very bad at hiding my feelings, but I still try.
Yeah.
But people typically know if I'm pissed or happy or whatever.
There's a lot of times where people look at me and they can see how I feel, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not trying to give out any signs. I'm just trying to get through this situation, and don't make it keep going and get worse than what it is.
Right.
Another story that I heard you talk about was speaking of homeless, you've been homeless quite a bit, and
4 times.
So there was a time where you said you were 18 and you met a older woman who came into your life. Tell us a little bit about that.
I just beat leukemia. I just beat cancer. And I was like, I'm on top of the world.
Hell yeah.
Everybody keeps saying, but you're a survivor. No, I beat the shit out of it. I'm not going to say survivor because I beat the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, and my mom said, you got to stop selling drugs. I'm going to kick you out the house. And I said, mother, fuck you. That's exactly what I said. Like, bar none. I think I said something way worse, though. And then she said, all right, get the fuck out. I was like, cool. Now, this is the stupid thing I did. I had like $26,000, to be quite real with you. I gave that to my mother.
Okay.
I just gave it to her because I was like, hey, I appreciate you. I was homeless before. I can do it now. But I had been too soft from America. I realized that homelessness was a little bit different now. But being homeless in America is so much easier than being homeless anywhere else. I literally just stayed behind a bakery and waited for the day olds, took a shower in a hospital, visiting people, old people. I was just talking to old people all day. That's what I was doing, going to their showers and eating their food and stealing their pills and selling them. It was really easy. Like, it was not that hard. One day I'm talking to this dude named Ronald, old dude. He's like, hey, man, you hear about that lady that just got here? I'm like, lady just got here? Speak so, Ronald. What do you mean? He said, that girl over there, she just got here. She ain't even sick. I said, she's not sick. That's interesting. So I go talk to her. That's where I met the main character of the story, who is Margaret. I met her, and she ended up telling me about her grandchildren, how evil they were. The reason she was in there is because she was poisoned. She was literally poisoned. Like, she was actively.
Damn.
I was like, what is this, the 1800s? You were fucking poisoned? She's like, yeah. I was like, what the fuck? Her grandchildren were trying to kill her really fast because she was fit as fuck. She did not look like 90. She didn't look that old. She didn't.
Yeah.
She was just fit. So what had happened was she was like, my husband died like 20 years ago. And I said, oh, that's sad. So yeah, I've been looking for somebody to spend the rest of my years with. And I said, that's interesting. And she said, do you want to do that? I said, pardon? She said, you want to do that? I said, I said, you got a house? She said, yep. I said, I've always loved older women. So I ended up living with her, and
Okay.
it seems like such a short amount of time, but this really goes to the fact that quality is better than quantity. 2 months, I tell you, two
Two
months
months.
was all it took for me to be completely shook, and my entire world was rocked. I realized that we went to so many places,
Mm,
Thailand. We went on a train. We went everywhere. It was amazing with kayaking, we went hiking. It was nuts.
awesome.
I was like, holy shit, she died.
Yeah.
We
Well,
got
people
married.
do
She
that.
died. I ended up taking her house, all her animals, basically everything she had, like all of it. And I was sad. I had never experienced a deeper sadness than this. And my thought process was, I gotta get rid of all this stuff because if I have this stuff, I'm gonna ruin my life forever. And her grandchildren, lo and behold, pop up out of thin air at the funeral, and I end up talking. They don't know who I am. I'm the only like black guy there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm just like, hey guys.
Right.
I was in those granny cheeks. They're like, what? And I was just, talking. And afterwards, the daughter approached me and we ended up commingling too. And then she realized that I was like basically her step granddad that she just
Yeah.
commingled with. It was a whole thing. Um, and it was a mess. The whole situation was a mess. They tried to sue me for manipulation or some shit. I don't know what they tried to sue me for.
Right.
I didn't really care. I countersued though, and I didn't get anything. I didn't realize I didn't. If you countersue and you don't have like a set amount, you don't get stuff if you sue all the time. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
so I just wasted money. And then after all the money, it was like what 200 and something $1,000. All that money, I gave it away. I gave it to people at diners, gave it to other homeless people, my friends who needed help, got them cars. I just helped people. That's all I did. And I was back at square one, homeless again.
You like giving away
But
money, man. Give me some
go
money,
ahead.
bro. Find
I
some
was,
more money. Give me
I was just,
some.
hmm?
So you find money, man, and you give it away, man. Find me some. Damn.
I pulled a Mr. Beast. You hate to see it.
Yeah, no doubt,
So
man.
what happened after that is I moved to Vegas because I needed to get rid of the money fast. I found like
That's a good place to do it.
oh, it is. People always think like, oh, you did drugs or gambled. No, as a matter of fact, I've never drank or smoked in my entire life. Not
Hmm.
once. Not once. I just gave the money away to people that wanted to gamble and encouraged them to waste it faster. I thought it
Yeah.
was funny to do that. I thought that
Right.
was
Yeah.
hilarious. So, I think I had like $12,000 left, and I ended up getting a motel for like 4 months. Because I didn't know you could bulk pay motels.
Sure.
Right.
I had what did I had a car? I forget which car I had. I don't remember the name of brand of the car. I had a car. Um, oh, sorry, I had a muscle car. My bad. I had a muscle car. I'm stupid. I had a muscle car, and I ended up staying with this stripper, and she needed a place to stay for my boyfriend. And I thought to myself, well, how do I make money? Wait, I have an idea. I could just sell drugs. So I went right back into selling drugs. Like I learned no lessons at
Right.
all, just right back into selling drugs immediately.
Do what
Met
you
this
know.
guy. Go ahead.
Is that it's just like you're doing what you know. When you get into a situation, it's what you've done. It's what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I ended up making money real fast. Met this guy named G. A few months in, he ends up getting raided, and then they find me, and I'm like, well. So I literally took all the drugs that I could, flushed them down the toilet, and I said, "Oh, this isn't gonna fucking work." I grabbed it, I had like a garbage bag of weed, and then I'm like, I'm gonna be right back. And she said, "Okay." I leave for 3 hours. All my shit's gone. Everything,
Oh shit.
PS2,
Cleaned
PS,
you
all
out.
everything's gone. I'm like, and she texted
Damn.
me and said, "I took everything. Bye." And I said, "Okay, love you." I wasn't even mad. I was just like, "That's fair, as long as she's safe."
Yeah.
But then I was a little bit upset because she took my hidden store of money, and all I had was like I had like 5,000 on me. Nobody told me that. Vegas is a desert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of my
Uh,
buddies lived in Vegas for a while. He was a chef out there.
I didn't know it was a desert. My car did, and it overheated and stalled out. And I couldn't start it. So I'm in the desert, on the side of the road, destitute, dying, and I'm thinking back about my ex-wife and thinking about all the situations that led me. I'm like 19, about to die. I'm like, well, this is it. It's been a good run. Anyways, I'll see you in the next run. Samsara. So I get saved by a racist. Guy named Dylan. Guy named Dylan comes up to me. He said, I'm like passed out on the side of the road, dirt everywhere. He said, boy, you're about to die. That's the last thing I hear before I wake up and I see some Asian lady in the corner. and I see Dylan, an old racist white man who wanted a slave really bad. So I lived with him for like a month or three. And I just learned so much about this ex KKK member who called me so many creative slurs that I had never heard in my life. It was so many. I had never
Nothing
heard
like
it
a
was such a
racist to find a
colorful.
new slur, man.
Yeah.
They're creative as shit with
Oh,
that,
yeah.
man.
It is learning a new slur is kind of like figuring out there's another continent. It's really it's
Oh,
like damn, I
wow.
didn't even know this was
Unexplored
real. It was really cool.
territory.
And I developed some slurs for him, like mayo maggot, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying? There were some fun ones
nice.
there.
That's
Vanilla gorilla,
solid. I like it.
acetaminophen agent. There were a lot of them.
A lot of
There, and we
alliterative
were going
ones,
back and
yeah.
forth, blow for blow. And he was really cool with the people that were on the reservations.
Mm-hmm.
All the indigenous people loved this racist dude because he was so weak that he couldn't damage them, but he was fun to banter with, and they could just insult him. He wouldn't get
Right.
mad. He just bantered back. He
Yeah.
was cool. Coolest
Right.
racist I've ever met in my life. To be fair, outside of racism, probably a perfect person on a realistic note.
Everybody's
Great
got
guy.
their faults.
And then after that, I stayed there for. He taught me how to dry farm, which is horrible. Never do it. Dry farming is ass.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And dirty.
People on the res have to dry farm because they don't have good stores and they lost most of their land, so they have to they're relegated to the deserts like Arizona and such. So dry farming is the only way they make food, and it's ass. It is so shit. I hated doing it, but we did that. I did that for 3 months, and he gave me his car, and I drive back up to Detroit. Lo and behold, I'm homeless again. Boom, that's where we're at.
Wow, what a trip, man. Yeah, because I've been to Vegas quite a bit, and I've never, I've met strippers, I went to strip clubs, stuff like that, but never went, never had a fear and loathing style
No, didn't bring
adventure.
didn't go through an ether binge in Vegas myself. No, missed that one.
I remember too on a video you were talking about the trauma that came with the loss of Margaret, and so I want you to talk a little bit about that, and because you said something about which I thought was interesting about how the money made you feel bad,
It did.
and
It was her money.
right. So yeah, go a little bit more into like the trauma side and like what your feelings were and like what it was that was really affecting you. Because in our society we see this, we always have like these little jokes about young guy marries older woman, older man marries a young girl, and it's kind of like this joke kind of thing in our society. But with you actually had a kind of a trauma behind it to where it wasn't that typical little like joke or money chasing thing.
At first, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was at first. I wanted to live, and I
In a
didn't even know
desperate
she had money. I'm not
situation.
gonna lie to you. I just was like, I need a house.
Yeah.
And she wanted somebody to be there for her emotionally. So my thought process in the entire situation was, okay, well, I can probably do this for a little bit, then chill out. What messed me up the most was me actually developing feelings. I didn't suspect that.
Right.
That was something you can't count on love.
Mm-hmm.
You it's the one factor that people don't always consider when it comes into any situation. Like, oh, if I would kill my family members for the greater good. Would you? Would you do that? Would you kill your mom to save a million people? Would you really do that? And that was the situation I had encountered because she was gone. Somebody that had taught me so much about the world. Somebody that was patient with me, patience that I had never experienced ever because
Right.
she already been through the boredom. She already been through the nonsense of life, the minutia. I couldn't bullshit this woman. She wasn't some young person. She had years experience. Every
Yeah.
weird story I had about gang life, she had something about something civil or nice about how she went to fucking hang out with the Danish people or Italy. She did something.
Yeah.
It was somebody that was tenured, experienced that I didn't experience before. And it made me realize something. I need somebody like this that isn't an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the average person, despite how deeply they want to be unique or cultured or different, is an idiot. I'm an idiot. And I realized that deeply.
Yeah.
That I'm stupid. I'm ignorant to everything. And all she wanted to do was not judge you. She didn't care if you were racist, Republican, liberal. Didn't care about none of that. She cared about understanding how your mind worked. And all she wanted to do was understand people. And I adopted that mindset deeply. I don't care if you want to kill me. I don't care if you hate black people. I really don't. You can do whatever you want to. That's fine. Do you hate me? Well, yeah, because you're black. That's fine. Why? Well, because your people are responsible for 90% of crime. Okay. Responsible that We're making sure that you guys don't get on the news and we get on the news. What are you mad about? I just want to know, where's the anger stem from? I don't care if you want to shoot me, rob me, stab me. Do it. Let me be the avenue for your anger, because she was the avenue for everything in my life, and I didn't grasp that. When I lost that, basically a therapist that was somebody I could sleep with, I
Yeah.
had lost a core factor of what I needed, a role model. I never had that. I never had somebody I looked up to. I never looked up to anybody. And at that moment, I realized the devastation of how people look up to celebrities and lose them, the devastation of losing a loved one or a mother, because I had never cared about anyone that deeply up until that point.
Mm.
And it messed me up so much.
A lot of
I didn't
guilt.
want to be around the money. I
Yeah.
didn't want to be in the house. I sold it. I didn't want to be around anything that reminded me of her. It was disgusting. It was putrid. It messed up my soul.
Yeah. So you just try to divest yourself of everything as soon as you could and just try to start fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there is there anything that from her that you've kept, like as a besides like your memories and what you feel for her, but is there anything physical that you kind of kept to keep her memory alive for you or anything like that?
Nope.
Got rid,
Nothing.
got
I,
rid of
I was homeless too
everything.
many times to keep on anything. I probably would have sold it to live.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And you said that she had a bunch of animals and stuff. What did you do with the animals?
Some went to neighbors, some went to my friends, some went to shelters. There was a lot of animals. There was a disgusting amount. There was like kittens being born. It was a lot
A lot of
going
animals.
on.
Yeah, that's a lot. That I mean, dealing with the loss and then you have to deal with all those animals. That is a lot.
Yeah, it was a big fucking mess, to be quite real with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw some of your other videos as well. I was watching them here earlier this week, and you were saying you got reunited with like your family, and like you realized that you had a larger family than you originally thought. Tell us a little bit about your brother who just won like a video game contest or something.
Oh, Atticus, yeah. So, what was that, 2 years ago, maybe? A few years back. I took him to like a little anime convention, just something locally. And I had been playing Tekken with him for quite some time. We had been playing together,
Nice.
and he doesn't speak.
He's not verbal at all.
He's not a fucking word, and that
Okay.
agitates my mom sometimes because she's just like, "Oh, he just playing. He can talk," and I'm like, "Mom, this nigga cannot speak at all. He can't say a fucking word." And I understand him because I force him to understand me. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I make sure this little motherfucker understand everything I say. I'm
Right.
like, Atticus. He was like, Atticus. He's like, "Huh. You like peanut butter?" And I gave him some peanut butter. I said, "This is peanut butter. Do you like it? Peanut butter. Peanut butter. Boom, you got it."
Yeah.
I just keep repeating the same words to him. I have taught him probably like 3% of English,
Yeah.
Right.
of English word, just by repeat
Sure.
all over and over.
Yeah,
Like,
just wrote.
so we go to this
repetitiveness,
video game tournament, and he's like, "Duh." I'm like, "Yep, that's right. We are at this video game tournament." He said, "Video. Yep, video game, video game. Duh. Cool." So I'm teaching him words, and I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am, can you come here?" And she's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I'm like, "This is Sailor Moon." And he's like, "Moon. This is Sailor Moon." I said, "Can you chant Sailor Moon with us right quick?" She's like, "Okay." So we just start chanting Sailor Moon, Sailor Moon. And I do that with every anime character I can find that I know. And we
Yeah,
do that
right.
until we get to the Tekken tournament. He has headphones that he wears because he gets overstimulated.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I take off the headphones, and he just hears this roars applause. He's like, and he freezes. I'm like, "Here, I got some other headphones for you, Atticus." He's like, "Huh." And I sign him up for this tournament, and he plays. They don't know his name, and they're like, "What's your name?" He looks at the person and says, "Duh." I'm like, "Yeah, that's his name."
Coming
So
to
they just
the
put
top.
they just put DA.
Nice.
So afterwards, and I don't even think they recognize that he's autistic. They don't even treat him like he's autistic at all, which is great. I love that. That's super
Sure.
cool. They just think he's some guy that only says one word, and they
Yeah.
just straight up. He goes through 3-0 everybody. It is disgusting. Apparently, there was somebody like really popular in the Tekken scene there. I don't know much about the Tekken scene. I don't know much about the FGC.
Right. Me
I don't
either.
care about frame data, none of that shit.
Right.
All I know is that my boy Atticus had mastered a bear.
Right.
So
yeah.
he beats everyone, disgustingly so. It is insane how badly he beats everybody. It is nuts. And last round, it was so disrespectful because at the last round, instead of it was the best of three, it was best of five. So he walks off after getting his 3-0, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, he's disrespectful." And he's just like, "Huh?"
He doesn't
Everybody,
even know.
yeah, everybody's just like, man, this
Cold.
motherfucker is ignorant. And the person against him gets really depressed about it because he doesn't know Atticus didn't understand. I say, Atticus, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he beats him again, and a dude tries to shake his hand, and Atticus just like looks at his hand and does he grabs the back of his hand and turns it around, and then does this, and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, and then he just says, duh. And then the announcer misheard him and said, he said that boy gotta die. And everybody goes crazy. They're like, die, 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 die. And he's just excited. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He's just like, ah.
Right.
Everybody's yelling, he's happy. Ah. And I'm just like, cool. And he won like $500.
Nice.
And
Hell yeah.
I took him to a store to spend the 500. He has 226 of that left, I think. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that
Hell
is awesome. We in our neighborhood we got a little boy. My son's 7, and there's a boy in our neighborhood down the street. He's 6, and when they started hanging out, he was pretty much nonverbal. But after we spent some time with him, we started to kind of understand his lingo and how he talked. Now he's done really great. He's gotten a bunch of help, but his mom wanted my son to always hang out with them because of the patience my son had, and he said that her little boy was starting to try to speak more because it kind of gave him somebody his age, his size, and something to kind of look up to, and so yeah, so now it's like he's done much better, but we still have kind of this lingo where there's some words are just noises, but we understand them now, and so it's almost like learning like a sign language in a way, but it's just we gotta because language is just something we agree on for an understanding, right? That's I think that's great that the whole Da thing cracks me up. It's like he says, and you're like, yeah. It's almost like I'm Groot. It's like, yeah, we get it. It means this in this moment.
One thing that always messed me up is every single day I get 55 messages on Instagram. No, TikTok, which is much after 300,000 on TikTok, I get 24 messages on average. And if it's like a Saturday, like today, I wake up to like 100, like personal messages. Most of the messages that I get, I'll respond to. I don't care who you are, I'll respond to them. But sometimes I get a message from like a mom that'll be like, how did you do that? I come home and I'm tired from work and stuff like that. And I'll say the most fucked up shit, but it makes sense to me because this is how I feel. My mom, bless her soul, no matter if she came back from a 12-hour shift, 14-hour shift, she would always play with Atticus until he went to bed when she came home. Because there's a thing, you can be a parent without being a true mother or a true father. You could be a parent, sure. You gave birth to somebody. You put your dick in something and came and say, boom, you're a parent. That's cool for you.
Right.
But are you a father?
Yeah.
Are you a mother? Truly, because you are obsessed with the idea of having a child, but not the work that comes with it.
Right.
And I tell them this. They said, but you don't understand what it's like. I don't understand what it's like, but I've seen people do better. Yeah. I've seen people when they said they can't because they told me. And every old person that has been patient with me has told me the same exact advice, and I take it to heart. It's 2 pieces of advice. One is be kind. Don't be good. Don't be evil. Nobody's good or evil. That doesn't exist. Be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone can be, even evil people can be kind. Hitler was kind. Mm-hmm. It's kind to a lot of people. Just be kind. And also, society grows great when you plant trees who you'll never know the shade of.
Right.
That is it. And I live by those 2 principles. No matter what goes on, if you punch me, shoot me, step, whatever it is, I'll be kind to you no matter what. That's all I care about. That's it. Just be kind. And these people that go through like dealing with autistic sons or something like that are worried, like, oh, what if he never finds a wife or never finds a loved one or something like that? Or what if he's like this forever? That's fine if they're like that forever. They're still going to exist and enjoy life. Sure. Just make sure they have a good run at this. That's all that matters. Your goal as a parent is no matter if they're gay, straight, whether they're lesbian, they have a polycule, whether they sell drugs, whatever they do, you just have to love them.
Right.
That is your job because they need that. They need to know that somebody that has half their DNA inside of them loves them. Because if you don't like them, how are they ever going to like themselves?
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
And it's that thing it's saying too. It's like you're saying, you can be a parent, but being a father or mother, a lot of it's just presence. and being present in time with them.
Understanding your kids, don't use them as accessories or just pieces in your life. They're their own human beings with their own thoughts and feelings. Understand what they want and what they want to do, and what their interests are.
They're not living your life.
Yeah,
they have their own life, and you're here to guide them and to get them on the path to where they can follow the things that they enjoy, or keep the love of the things that they love. And so I think a lot of that is just the parenting. I think a lot of parents do worry, like you're saying, well, what if they don't ever get married? That has nothing to do with you. It's not your life, and maybe they don't. Maybe that's not something that's important to them. It may not be a goal for them. So why should it matter to them,
It doesn't. Because one time I went on a date with this nonverbal autistic girl because she was hella thick. And it was that's the reason I went. It was really cool. I didn't she had like I think her brother or something with her who tried to translate for her. And I said, "No, I understand what she's saying." And generally speaking, I understood what was going on. And he was surprised that I have so much patience. And he was like, "Wow, you really have this down pat." And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, he said, "Well, we gotta go home." And I said, "Well, ask her if she wants to go home." And I asked her, I said, "Do you want to come home with me or do you want to go back to your house?" She looked at me and said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, cool. She wants to come home with me." And the dude was just like, "Yeah, but she doesn't know what's going on." And I said, "Do you know what's going on?" She says, "Home, you." And she hugged me. And I said, "She knows what's going on. Don't baby a grown woman. Like, she's grown.
Right.
She can drive. Like, don't baby her." Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's crazy to do that. It seems so psychotic to think just because somebody doesn't speak your same language or speaks it in a broken English that they're less intelligent or something like that. It seems like a very odd camp to die on.
Yeah.
Seems strange.
Yeah, well, too, it just goes back where people try to live their lives through other people or through the people. And I think sometimes, it is that people get caught up in the protection, and then sometimes that protection becomes too much.
You talk about helicopter parents and people nowadays as well too that are just like going crazy. They don't let kids do anything. You can't bring peanuts to school anymore because of peanut allergies. Like I said, I used to ride my bike to school. Across a park. 8 years old. That would just like there are still kids in New York who ride the subway to school every day. As well. Just let kids live.
It's nuts because they'll be like, "Oh, there's a predator out there." There have always been weirdos and predators. You just know about it more. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I was talking to my friend yesterday. He said, "Man, you see all these crazy conspiracy theories? Where'd they come from?" There have always been crazy conspiracy theories. You just have the internet, so you're seeing them a lot more.
Yeah, the megaphone's way louder now.
The information's
the vocal minority is vocal. Is vocal for sure.
For sure. We're not getting all of our information from a newspaper anymore. You know what I mean? Like in letters,
Comes from everywhere.
Coming on a boat from Australia 2 months later. Oh, did you hear what happened in Australia in January? That's crazy.
That's over now, though, but it did happen. Well, Saros, man, we appreciate you coming on. We'll let you go. I know you're probably busy.
No, not at all.
A bunch of messages to answer.
I didn't know how long this interview was about to be at all. I have no clue what was about to happen. So I had to clear it out like a vast amount of time I didn't know what was going on. So I was just making sure you guys had enough information from what you needed from me.
We just like I said before,
like to rap with you, man. We saw your videos.
Found it.
We like to bring on interesting people with crazy perspectives. You seemed like an interesting fellow with a unique spin on life, and we think our listeners would really get a kick out of hearing your stuff.
Yeah, because we're kind of in that situation. We're fairly new. We've got I think 16 episodes, but so we're just kind of the point where I literally scroll Instagram and stuff, and when I see someone interesting, I'm like, I want to know more about them, and you were definitely one of them. It was really really cool to sit and chat with you, man. We'll get you back on sometime if you want to come back on, and we'll talk some new stuff. Get a little more into the DnD worlds and things like that. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, it was it was great. Before we go, if there anything, go ahead, do some shameless
plug, man. Anything?
Let everybody know where they can find you.
On?
Do not look for me anywhere. The only thing I need you guys to... I'm having a GoFundMe for my father at the current moment. He is currently destitute and basically homeless because the inside of his house burned to a fiery crisp. We are trying to raise a generous $75,000 because that is the only way that he'll get everything fixed and things of that variety. And that will make sure that he is safe to the end of his life with that amount of money. So I don't care if you follow me on any social medias. I'm Saros. If you find me, you find me. I'll be popular one of these days enough to where you don't even have to do a shout out for me ever. I don't care about that. I care deeply about this GoFundMe and making sure my dad gets enough money to be safe. That's it.
Right on. Yeah, we'll have that in our show notes. So if you guys want to donate anything to help out, check
Awesome,
out the
man.
show notes. But yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Thanks for
And
taking the time, man.
It's
We
great
appreciate
talking
it.
with you, meeting you. And
No problem.
good luck with everything. And we'll see you around, man.
See ya. Have a very lovely day.
All right, take
See
care,
ya.
man.